This is Joey Schlater with Schlater's Incorporated. In this video tutorial, we'll go over how to import a soils map from Web Soil Survey. So we'll go to pull up a web browser. Here we'll just use Google Chrome and just search Web Soil Survey. We'll click on the link for the Web Soil Survey and click Start WSS. In doing this, it'll show you the picture of the United States. We need to zoom into the area of interest, or zoom into the area we're looking for. I'll go to northern Indiana. We can then see the county maps come up. You can do this at the field level, like just individually download a single field, or if you'd like to have it as a background map just in your Farmworks, you can basically download a large amount of data. So I'm going to click the area of interest button. I'm just using the rectangle. There is a polygon tool if you want to download a different shape. It does limit you on how large of a file you can download at one point in time. So I'm not going to, if I were to download the entire county, it's over 300,000 acres, and it does limit you on 100,000 acres. So I'm just going to kind of download this section. And when I click on that area of interest, it's going to create that map. So for instance, we can look at the soil map. It'll show us the different soils type. We can click on it. It'll show you the information. The shopping cart allows you to download a report, so if you want a report for that. But we'll go to download soils data. I clicked on the shopping cart, so it's generating that report. So if I click on download soils data, I can click create download link. And it's going to generate a link to where we can download this file. It will be in a, as you can see, an Esri shape file. In that area of interest, I had actually I had data from Jasper County, Pulaski County, and a little bit in White County. So we had 50,000 acres in Pulaski County, download about 1,500 acres of Jasper, and just under 1,000 acres of White County. This may take a few minutes because there is a large amount of data. It's actually rather quick if you're just doing an individual field. But the idea in this tutorial is that we'll just have a large group that we just leave in Farmworks. So the link finished. So the loading button went away, and down at the bottom you'll see this download link. So Web Soil Survey area of interest gives the date. Don't know what those last three digits do. But we'll click on that and it downloads this zip file. So we'll give that few seconds to download the zip file. It's automatically downloading to your downloads folder. We can leave it there, or if you want to save it somewhere else you can. But we do need to unzip it because it is in a zipped format. So it's in the downloads. I'll just come back to downloads, and I'll right click on this file and just hit extract all, and that will allow it to extract. It'll at least just save it in the downloads folder as an unzipped file. So now we go to Farmworks. I'm going to put this just in the county map. I'm going to just say county map as a client. So I create a new client. I called it 01, so it's up at the top. Maybe we want to make this client name, soil map. And I'll create a new farm, and I'll just call this Pulaski. Southwest. And now import this background. So we'll go to our downloads folder. I can open up the Web Soil Survey, and we're going to look at the basic spatial file. And so now here are your different files that you can import. For right now, we'll just import all of them, and we'll kind of go through what we got. They're all in a latitude longitude format, so just keep saying OK, and it'll import those. And I believe the one we want is going to be, we want an area map. So the AOI, the area of interest, A, I'm going to pull that one up. And so these are the different maps. We'll look and see which we're looking for. So by pulling up, let me clear my list out here. By pulling up the AOI _A _AOI, the area of interest, Okay, that is just showing me what the area of interest is. Don't need that, so I'm going to delete that one. Here's the soil makeup for that area of interest. So as I open that up, I can look at the MUSYM. Not 100% sure what that's a algorithm for, but it basically now shows us our different soil types. So we have the different keys. And so here we can look at different soil types. We can go to its properties and view those properties there. And so yeah, here's a soils map that basically is in there. Now granted, you do need to have, it'll show you basically what the symbol key is. Like if I click on this one, I can go to my info and see that's WPBA, but I need to know what soils type that is. And so that's where downloading the, go back to the web soil survey. If you go back to the shopping cart, it will download that booklet showing you what all those soils maps are, what they mean. So like for instance, if I come into an area, I can see all those same kind of symbols, and we can look at the breakup of what they are. So like that one we were looking at was WPBA, Winnemac Fine Sandy Loam. So, I can click on that. It's going to show me the makeup of it. So by going to this shopping cart, it'll allow you to download basically a booklet showing you what each one of those soil types are. Because right now this map is really only as good as having the data to go behind it. But this can be loaded with the background imagery. And this can be just saved up here. So there's actually line files, which you don't need, and there's point files, which you don't necessarily need. The only thing we really need to download is these soil mu_a_aoi, and that will be a file that can just be left up here. They can always import as a background map. Now, one other thing I highly recommend, and we'll just close out my AutoCAD and other stuff I got going on. Let me open up Google Earth. A more interactive use of a soils map is in the web soil or the soil web plugin for Google Earth. So you can get to soil web plugin just by going to Google and just Google search soil web earth. The California Soil Resource Lab, they've made a plugin for Google Earth. You can just click on the soil web earth and it'll download the KML file in there. But what will happen is when you put a check mark in soil web, you can zoom into a given area. We'll just take this field for instance. Give it a second. Once you're in a given area, give it a second. Here the soils map will pop up. You can see a soil type. You can double click on it. It'll show you what that soil type is. Here's a Brims, loamy fine sand. You can click on that and it'll take you into a new interface. There's actually a new interface through Soil Web that you can click on. It kind of gives you more updated interactive. It does zoom you to California, so you got to go back in and zoom to your area. So here we'll go to California. So let's say I'm looking at this soil type. I don't know what a CK is. I can click on it. It's a clear lake, and we can look at and click on the soil type, and it'll show you the makeup. You can look at the KSAT. The KSAT is your hydraulic conductivity, which is how fast water flows through the soil. So the soil web is a really neat tool as well to put on there. But the last thing I want to show you about Farmworks, and actually this is a really old feature, as another background map. Most guys just use the aerial imagery in here. But if you want to have data for, let's say for instance, there's a ditch here, and I want to outlet into a ditch, but I don't necessarily know the ditch name. And if you're working with a FSA office or NRCS office, and you want to be, going in there with some more info, I'm going to right-click on I'll right-click on this soil map client. I'm going to say download road and waterway data. I can choose I want county data, or the United States, Indiana, Pulaski County, and I want to download the waterways. I don't necessarily need to download roads because they're in the aerial imagery. But I can say OK to that, and it actually puts it up in the unassigned client and farm. But I can open up the Pulaski County waterways, and as I zoom in and see a waterway there, obviously we can see it. I can click on it and click on its info, and it shows me that's the hill ditch. Or if I click on this one, that's the stamp ditch. So that's just kind of another tool that most people don't know about. And you can do that for basically anywhere in the United States. Just right-click, download road or waterway data. This was here kind of before there was aerial photography, but that waterway data is still kind of some beneficial information. So, hope you guys have found this video tutorial helpful, and have a good one.